So in this session we'll be taking a look at investment banks, and similar structure to that of commercial banks. We'll be looking at balance versus off-balance sheet activities for investment banks. So investment banks are sort of specialist providers of financial and advisory services to corporations, high net individuals and governments. And in Australia they're classified as sort of money market corporations, so very short-term markets that they operate in. So funding is often raised in international capital and money markets. They don't provide loans as such, and the ones that they do are very much short-term loans, which are going to be later securitized and sold in the market. So you can see here that they primarily just provide financial and advisory services. So whereas with commercial banks, how they had quite a lot of balance sheet activities, with investment banks we're dealing very much with only off-balance sheet activities. So some of the off-balance sheet activities that we see in investment banks. So investment banks can often act as foreign exchange dealers. They can advise in raising funds in capital markets. They can be the underwriter on new share or debt issues. They can also organise the placement of new issues with institutional investors. They can advise on balance sheet restructuring. They advise on mergers and acquisitions of a company. They can advise on project finance and structured finance undertakings, on risk management, and they also advise on and sometimes provide partial provision of venture capital. And venture capital is simply just basically cash or capital used in new ventures of a business or a high net worth individual. So you can see that they are the sort of activities that often occur within an investment bank. So it's very different to commercial banks, which are basically just deposit taking institutions whereby they take deposits and issue loans. Although they do have their off-balance sheet activities, they have a lot greater transparency through their balance sheet activities. We'll be looking at sort of how this difference of structure affects the risk between commercial banks and investment banks, not in the next session but the session after that. We'll first just be looking at some of the regulation that has been placed on commercial and investment banks, and then we'll take a look at how that then affects the risk and tie it all together. So now that we have an understanding of the sort of structure of both commercial and investment banks in terms of balance and off-balance sheet activities, we can take a greater look into the risk that each of these face.